15, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, remaining start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
They are a rare example of the right stuff. Proof that once you set your mind to something, even the sky is not the limit. Theirs is a quest for excellence. They are extraordinary women in aviation. Welcome to the Palm Springs Air Museum. I'm your host, Gail O'Grady. You've probably heard the phrase, "You can't be what you can't see." Today, women are living more by the ethos, "You can't be what you can't dream." From Amelia Earhart to Ellen Ochoa and beyond, female aviators have been making history. Each in their own way, each on their own terms. They are pioneers that made a lasting impact on people around the world, proving women are in charge of their own destiny. The accomplishments and contributions of women in aviation span decades. Going back to 1910 and Raymond de la Roche marking the world's first woman to earn a pilot's license. In 1912, Harriet Quimby was the first woman to pilot her own aircraft across the English Channel. In 1921, Bessie Coleman became the first African-American, female or male, to earn a pilot's license. In 1932, Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. In 1939, Jacqueline Cochran set an international speed record. Later, Cochran would be instrumental in creating the Women Air Force Service Pilots, WASP, as they became known as. In 1964, Geraldine Jerry Mock of Columbus, Ohio, was the first woman to pilot a plane solo around the world. The Spirit of Columbus, a single-engine plane. It wasn't until 1973 that the U.S. Navy announced pilot training for women. And in 1985, Tammy Jo Schultz would take advantage of that and go on to become one of the first female fighter pilots flying an F-18 Super Hornet.
The recruiters at the Air Force said no. I waited for someone different to be behind the desk, and they said, no, we don't recruit girls. And the third time they said, all right, don't come back. Send your brother in if he's interested. And the Army had the same no, and then the Navy said, sure, take a test. But while that was encouraging, it would take 2 more years to find, and 3 more recruiters to find a Navy recruiter that would process that test.
After serving her country honorably for 8 years, Tammy Jo left the Navy and piloted for Southwest Airlines. On April 17, 2018, Schultz faced her greatest challenge as a pilot when Southwest Airlines Flight 1380 had a catastrophic engine failure, causing an explosion that tore away sections of the plane and punctured a window.
Southwest 1380 has an engine fire descending. Yeah, we have a part of the aircraft missing.
Through rapid depressurization and thick smoke, Schultz safely landed the severely crippled flight manually and saved the lives of 148 people. Tammy Jo is a firm believer in hope doesn't take no for an answer. Hope pushes through.
But after regaining control and finding a destination and then communicating that fact, it just seemed to change the atmosphere. Habits on a good day becoming instincts on a bad day. Heroes, and what a difference they made stepping up. Many of them without any uniform, any equipment, any authority. But the way they stepped up changed the ending of that day. But hope was pivotal in that it didn't change our circumstances, but it changed us. And just having that, it gives you a buoyancy in some pretty terrible situations.
The Palm Springs Air Museum features one of the world's largest collections of flyable and static aircraft from World War II, like this fan favorite, pristine P-51D Mustang named Man o' War. During World War II, the Women Air Force Service Pilots, WASP, flew planes like these, tested aircraft, ferried aircraft overseas to our men in battle, and trained other pilots. Their purpose was to free male pilots for combat roles during the war. However, it wasn't until Erin Miller, proud granddaughter of WASP Elaine Danforth Harmon, in 2016 led a successful grassroots campaign to fight for the passage of H.R. 4336 through Congress, and the WASP were finally recognized for their wartime service and bestowed equal respect at all of the nation's military cemeteries.
And it's actually tattooed on my arm. I met with more than 150 offices on Capitol Hill between the House of Representatives and the Senate. It was ultimately signed into law by the President of the United States on May 20th, 2016, and eventually she was laid to rest with a military funeral honors on September 7th, 2016. As a result of all of that, a lot of people learned about the WASP, which was my grandmother's goal in life in spending all that time going to schools and museums and giving talks. Ironically, by getting into an argument with the cemetery, millions of people learned about them.
Despite the fact that the aerospace industry has historically been a male-dominated field, the success of American space exploration is largely due to the invaluable contributions of women. From mathematicians to engineers, the input and expertise of women have been essential in propelling us into the stars. Without their dedication and hard work, American space travel would not have taken off. Women like Mary Jackson helped one of the first American astronauts, John Glenn, orbit the Earth in 1962 and ensured the safety of the mission. The African American women, computers as they were known, played a vital role in advancing NASA's projects, a story popularized by the movie Hidden Figures based on the book of the same name by Margot Lee Shetterly. 7 years later, the U.S. realized President Kennedy's goal of landing a man on the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
Neil Armstrong left a footprint that was seen and heard around the world.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Ray Seddon was in college when she and her father watched that same monumental lunar landing, an event that further solidified her dream of becoming an astronaut. In 1978, Seddon's life was forever changed when she was selected as one of the 6 women admitted as astronaut candidates in a group of 35 new astronauts. She worked at NASA for 19 years. She served as a mission specialist on space shuttle flights and as a payload commander in charge of all science activities on her final flight in 1993.
Applying for the astronaut program was kind of a long process. Luckily, I found out that they were going to take women in a new group of astronauts, and they were taking applications in 1977. I asked for one, received it, filled it out, felt like I had the credentials. I had an advanced degree. I was an MD by then, and I guess there were about 8,700 people that applied at the same time that I did. Luckily, I was invited to NASA for an interview, and they had cut the number down to 220, so I felt like my odds were a lot better. You know, I received a call in January of 1978 that I had been accepted into the program. So it was a pretty exciting moment for me. I never really dreamed that it would happen, but I was very fortunate to be kind of at the right place at the right time, and some things all came together. I think when women are achievers, they have a responsibility to sort of pass on what they know and how they achieved their goals. I certainly love to speak to young women and see a light go on in their eyes, and they think, well, gosh, if she can do that, maybe I can too. And I think that's so important, to be able to pass on those dreams to others.
In April 1993, history was made when Ellen Ochoa, a female mathematician and aerospace engineer, became the world's first Hispanic female astronaut. She wrote her own name in the stars, blazing a trail for future female astronauts and inspiring generations of young women to pursue their dreams. Ellen was born in 1958 and grew up in Los Angeles, California. She too had the same dream of graduating college and becoming an astronaut. Ochoa graduated from San Diego State University with a major in physics. She went on to earn a doctorate in electrical engineering at Stanford. After finishing NASA's 2-year astronaut training, Ochoa was selected to serve as mission specialist among the 5-member crew.
When I was assigned to my first mission, and I was going to be the first Latina in space, you know, I don't think it mattered to my other crew members. You know, they just want to make sure you're going to be a good and competent crew member and work with everyone well and help make the mission successful. And of course that was top of mind always for me. I trained with my crew for a year, so you know, you get to know each other quite personally, everybody's families, and so, you know, those labels don't really mean anything. It's really just about a group of people working together.
Ochoa is a veteran of 4 space flights, leading onboard scientific activities and logging nearly 1,000 hours in orbit.
I loved being in the astronaut program. I loved being at NASA in general. I mean, of course, there's the unique experience of actually flying in space, but to me it wasn't just about being in space. It was, we have a mission. My first 2 missions were really focused on scientific research, which is exactly what I was thinking about when I first got interested in applying. We were studying the Earth's atmosphere, and particularly the problem of the ozone hole and ozone depletion. So we were collecting data that was important to people all around the globe.
An outspoken advocate for young women and minorities entering STEM fields, 6 schools across California, Oklahoma, Washington, and Texas bear her name. Dr. Ochoa was inducted into the Astronaut Hall of Fame and received NASA's highest award, the Distinguished Service Medal.
Well, for me, Sally Ride was somebody that really got me thinking about the astronaut program, but even more globally about just setting goals for myself that maybe I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. I can see that I'm playing that role for others as well. You should dream big and set goals for yourself that you might have felt without seeing these other women that were just beyond you. So I just feel really fortunate that I get to fill that role for other people.
In December 1998, when the shuttle Columbia takes off, Colonel Eileen Collins will take one big step forward for women and one giant leap for humanity.
Timing was everything for space travel trailblazer Lieutenant Colonel Eileen Collins. She was one of the first women to go from college into the Air Force pilot training program. Collins became an astronaut in 1991 after being selected for the astronaut program while attending the Air Force Test Pilot School.
The first time I was aware of astronauts, I was in 4th grade reading my Junior Scholastic magazine, and the article on the Gemini astronauts drew my attention. I still remember it today. And looking back, I know men like Jim McDivitt, Jim Lovell, Michael Collins, you know, same last name as me, no relation, but I really admired them, and I looked at their backgrounds. They were all test pilots, they were engineers, they were military pilots, and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be just like them.
In 1995, Eileen Collins became the first woman to pilot a space shuttle, and in 1999 went on to become the first female commander of a space shuttle mission, Columbia STS-93.
We are a nation built by the passion of people who weren't afraid to do something first, to step into the unknown, and to pave our own way forward. We are a nation of explorers. As I look into the future, I believe there is a very bright future for all pilots, women pilots, male pilots, young and old. It took a little bit of courage on my part to call the airport and to actually go up there and say, will you teach me how to fly? I mean, I thought they'd say, oh, you know, you're too young, you're a girl. I just thought they wouldn't want me, but it was just the opposite. And I think all these years later, since the women have proved that they're there because they want to fly, they're not there to be, you know, some kind of historical figure or something like that, or gain attention for ourselves. We're there because we love to fly, we want to serve our country.
For many years, three-time female aerobatic champion Betty Skelton was known as the First Lady of Firsts. The Florida native earned her nickname the hard way. Whether as the international female aerobatic champion, flying at 29,000 feet, or traveling at speeds greater than 300 miles an hour in a jet-powered car, in the process of setting 17 aviation and race car records, she also paved the way for women to enjoy equal opportunities in aviation, sports, and business. Betty's plane is much like this one here at the Palm Springs Air Museum. Our Stearman was built in 1941 and is unique in that it has an engine that offers double the horsepower compared to the original. It was previously owned by Baron, the flying innkeeper Hilton. Upon his passing, the Hilton family donated it to the museum to ensure the plane would continue to be flown and maintained. The Stearman is one of our flagship warbirds, being our most popular warbird ride. Today, Vicki Benzing is wowing crowds of fans in her own vintage 1940 Stearman.
When I first started flying, there really were hardly any women in aviation, and it would be very rare to hear a woman's voice on the radio. And nowadays, you hear a woman's voice on the radio quite frequently, which is really fantastic. I love that women are more engaged in aviation. The things you can see when you fly, the things you can do, they're unbelievable. It will grab you for your entire lifetime.
Here at the Palm Springs Air Museum, we too are helping promote the women aviators of tomorrow, fostering the future of our industry, beginning with advancing and promoting education programs aimed at young girls and boys. Grade school students learn the basics of flight, meet and interact with docents that fought for our freedoms. Get up close and learn the stories behind the vintage planes that flew in World War II, Korean and Vietnam Wars, and the global war on terror. This year, the Air Museum is stepping up and giving back to young female scholars through the introduction of the Palm Springs Air Museum's Young Science Professionals Scholarship Fund. The Scholarship Fund was created to provide technical, career-minded individuals the opportunity to develop professionally, civically, and socially. 2 gifted students advanced to finalist and received $10,000 each towards their education goals.
My name is Elizabeth Whitty. I live in Indio, California. I was born in the Bay Area, but moved here when I was 3, so this is home to me.
My name is Caitlin Hill. I'm 17 years old. I attend Desert Mirage High School and I am in 12th grade.
About 2 years ago, on December 4, 2020, I was in a plane crash right outside these doors on 31 Right. It was from that experience that, of course, my life changed, and I am still in recovery today. From that, I know that although I might not be flying on the ground, I do want to support those in the air, but down here as an engineer, and that's absolutely fine. Aviation is so broad that there's so many avenues that you can go under.
When I was in 6th grade, my school, San Martinez Elementary, came here on a field trip. This book was given to me by a docent at the Palm Springs Air Museum. He bought it for me actually because I was super interested and I kept asking a billion questions, and afterwards he was like, I'd want you to keep learning about this. And so he let me pick out a book. You can see my bad handwriting back then, and I put my sticker on it, and I've kept this book it's been around 6 years. I've kept the book. I remember it has probably chocolate stains in it. I've read it so much, and it meant a lot to me. He believed in me, he saw something in me, and he wanted me to continue learning about this, where there's not many opportunities where I live to learn about aviation, and it meant a lot to me.
I am going to be finishing up my 2nd year of engineering at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University worldwide, and this scholarship will help propel me further into my junior year and graduating, and hopefully the next steps into getting a career in the aerospace industry.
I have an older brother who's just started college. He's a freshman, and so we don't really know how I'm going to be able to pay for college, so the scholarship helps me go to a school that I genuinely want to go to, and that's good for my major and the opportunities, so I don't have to limit myself based off financials.
Kaylin, grew up, and she had identities for which she was not always accepted by her peers, right? And so instead of giving up, right, she became more resilient. And it is really this resilience that has led her to be our salutatorian for Desert Mirage High School class of 2023. So we're excited to have her, and all more excited for all the things she's going to be doing.
The Palm Springs Air Museum is also proud to introduce an inspirational flight program for kids 12 to 17 to get their first flight in an aircraft.
All right, you ready to start?
Yeah.
There we go.
My name is Sarah Navarro, and I'm in AFJ ROTC in Cathedral City High School. I've never been on a plane before, so today is my first time ever being in a plane. I'm a little nervous, but I'll stick with it. I feel like at first I'm a little nervous, but once I get used to it, it's gonna be perfectly fine, so I'm ready for it. So I have 2 older siblings, a brother and a sister, and they've been on planes before, so I'm the last one to be on a plane, so.
Today is a special treat. You're going to get to go up in our T-6 Texan, North American built airplane, and this was the airplane responsible for teaching fighter pilots how to be fighter pilots in World War II.
We're out looking for prospective candidates, students who may want to become pilots and don't exactly know how to get started, and we want to offer them that first step and that first flight experience to see how they like it or not. Sarah has no experience whatsoever in an airplane, and she's getting her first ride today.
Wave at everybody. What you think?
It looks so pretty. It's like, I don't feel like I'm right here. I feel like I'm in a simulation or something.
It's magic, isn't it?
Yeah. I can see my house from right here.
Oh, cool. We're going to make our turn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Woohoo! Not too bad, huh?
No! It was perfectly fine. I really liked it. I would do it again. It was the best experience I could ever say I ever had. I would want other kids to do it from AFJ ROTC. I hope they're able to do it later on in the future with the program you guys have started. So thank you for giving me this experience. I feel like deeply proud of myself for being the first person to be for the first flight, because it's a big opportunity to get, and I'm glad that people chose me for it, and I'm glad that you guys were able to do this.
Women have made a significant contribution to aviation, going back to Catherine Wright, sister of Orville and Wilbur Wright. Yes, she too flew. Today, women pilots fly for the airlines, fly in the military and in space, fly air races, helicopter mercy flights, command naval air bases, and so much more. I asked some of the women featured today, if they could go back in time, what would you say to your teenage self? Their responses were inspiring.
To my teenage self, I would say just keep your feet moving and keep going, and don't get so frustrated about being told no. As long as you've got your long range goal in focus, then you can navigate around the obstacles, and who knows, that navigation may put you on an even better path.
Oh my gosh, what would I tell my teenage self? I would tell my teenage self to be bolder and to believe in myself more.
Well, the first thing I would tell my teenage self is, yes, someday women will be allowed to be astronauts, because of course at that time, not only was the astronaut career not open to women, but of course so many careers were not open to women at that time. And I don't think I could have anticipated how much that would change in the next 10 years or so as I got older and went through college. If I'd realized how much things would have changed, I think maybe earlier I would have set higher goals for myself. But fortunately, things happened at the right time for me to be able to participate in the amazing mission of NASA.
I hope today's program has been inspiring to all young women considering a career in aerospace. There are many role models and mentors out there raising you up and welcoming you into their chosen field. There are many programs available that encourage women pilots and many options to pay for flight school. Together, we can celebrate progress and offer to women and girls opportunities to explore aviation. In the words of NASA's current female flight director, Charlie Blackwell Thompson, there are no boundaries. There are no limits. So go out there and find your dream, reach for the stars, and perhaps change the world. For the Palm Springs Air Museum, I am Gail O'Grady. The following has been a Palm Springs Air Museum production in association with Jones Agency.